Hi, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Expert. And believe it or not, to navigate LinkedIn and use LinkedIn for business, for a job connection, for a business connection, or just only to publish out there, require a behavioral IQ, require learning, require practice, and require consistency. And believe it or not, we have experts and how to navigate LinkedIn. So today we have Howard Fox. Howard, how you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing very well. Thank you for the invitation, Susan.
So LinkedIn for some people is a tool for only socializing, for other people is to make business. And you advise people, and you're an expert in how to navigate LinkedIn. Most people think it's simple, but have some tweet intrinsic things that you need to know how to do it in order to do it right. And people get lost and like, why I don't have clicks? Why I don't have connection? Why people doesn't reply? Tell me why you're an expert in LinkedIn and how you ended up being an expert in LinkedIn.
Sure. Well, thank you. And first of all, for me, LinkedIn has been in my life almost since it came into being as a platform back in the early 2000s. I am a recovering IT business consultant, and IT folks are usually the first people who use LinkedIn. And in the beginning, it was just, in some ways, an electronic version of the resume. Or you met somebody at an event and you exchanged business cards and you said, are you on LinkedIn? I said, are you on LinkedIn? We said, yes, let's connect. And you never do anything with that connection. So as a coach, when I made my career shift, my goal has been to evangelize, to build expertise around helping clients, whether they are in transition, whether they're looking to promote their brand, whether they are a business. How do I use LinkedIn to not only share who I am as a professional, but also how do I create opportunities on LinkedIn? And that's what I do today.
So let's start for the basic, because another thing, LinkedIn is changing all the time and acquire new options that you can use. So let's start for setting your profile. That a lot of people make more mistakes than you will think, and something so simple to who I am and how I show other people who I am.
Very true on that. So let me share, I'll share my screen. And so you and your listeners should be seeing my screen right now.
Yes.
And so I have a mastermind community, and this mastermind community is myself, plus even my clients who are gaining experience on LinkedIn and sharing their lessons learned as well. What I talk about when using LinkedIn and why it's important to be careful, to be aware of the words you're using, the verbiage you're using, is to focus more about the role you play in your ideal client, your ideal customers' lives, as opposed to always just talking about ourselves. And, if we just want a profile just because we need a profile out there, and there are clients like that. I have some legal clients that they're not going to be active on LinkedIn, but they need a presence there because your profile shows up at the top of Google search results. But if you do want to use LinkedIn to not only share about yourself, what I call your brand, but also to communicate what you do in service of your clients and customers, I always talk about these three questions, and I just think they're very important, and they can be weaved around what's called a story. And the story is essentially, in a nutshell, the hero's journey. And what I want to know is, what issues do you care about in the work that you do? And whether you are an attorney, finance, you're a behavioral hacker like you are, Susan, coach like I am, these are the pieces that I care about, the things that what I do, and I want to let people know that. And it's an important first question. The second is, through my basis of knowledge, accumulated knowledge, what problems do I solve because of my expertise? And then what opportunities do I create for my customers and clients when it comes to using LinkedIn? So I think continually crafting your LinkedIn profile, and we'll go through a couple of the sections now, with these 3 questions in mind can be very effective in having an exceptional LinkedIn profile. I talk about, when I'm doing coaching in person, I talk about prime areas of real estate. And in the case of LinkedIn, when you go to someone's LinkedIn profile, maybe you found it on LinkedIn via search, maybe you Googled and you found them and then you clicked on LinkedIn. However you got there, you're looking at someone's profile. The first thing you're going to see, and I consider prime areas of real estate, are the profile photo. And both you and I have profile photos. We have you and I also have a banner image. I was just doing a podcast today, and my guest had the blue out of the box. It looks like a constellation, but it's actually a network, conception. But it's just a very basic banner that doesn't communicate anything. You've got a very nice banner as well. And then the third piece of real estate above the fold, before you start to scroll with your touchpad or your mouse, is your headline. And so what I thought we would do, Susan, is just kind of dissect each one of these one at a time. Now, there is a 4th piece of real estate that is important. We'll get to that shortly. So the profile photo is crucial. If you don't have a profile photo, and maybe you have it, but it's hidden and you can unhide it via the configurations, it's important to have a profile photo that speaks to your brand. People have to know that they would want to like you, trust you. Are you somebody they would want to get to know? Now, I tend to be more conservative as a coach. I want people to see me and let's look like somebody they'd want to get to know, and perhaps I can help them. You have your own specific brand, and the colors you choose, the sunglasses. This is part of who you are as the behavioral hacker. And it's important, but what is most important is you have a profile photo. I see a lot of folks that don't have it, or they have a profile photo that's poor quality. I've even seen profile photos that were individuals. You could tell it was a wedding photo. It was the groom in his tux or the bride in her gown. And you don't want an adult beverage. You don't want to be holding your pet. You don't want to be skiing down the mountain. But it's got to be a profile photo that will compel the individual to want to learn more about you and your work. The other piece, and this is one that I think a lot of folks don't take advantage of, it's the banner image. And again, I was just describing my podcast guest. It was just a blue field and there was nothing there. So anybody who is in the business of being a business owner, an entrepreneur, needs to have a profile photo that communicates, in some ways, those 3 questions. What issues do I care about? What problems do I solve? What opportunities do I create? Now, my image, because I'm a coach, is all about organizations and teams and leaders, and how do we do that? And I give you some elements that I look at when it comes to being an individual or leader or being a part of a team leadership. And so these will very quickly tell my ideal clients and customers what I do and what I care about. Now, your banner image actually, I think, is very compelling. You've got these pictures here. And I want to say, Susan, I'm very curious about the pictures. The one piece, and I know you and I have had this discussion before, is you've got your logo, the Human Behavior Lab, and I do like the logo very much. And then below it, I see Forbes, and I think it's the Forbes coaching community. If I were to make any kind of advice, and I know, again, you and I have had these conversations, I would want to see some more elements about answering those 3 questions. What issues do I care about? What problems do I solve? What opportunities do I create? I certainly would keep the Human Behavior Lab logo because it's wonderful. I might, for right now, ditch the Forbes logo. But all in all, I would say, you're a lot farther along than other people who are in the space. The last piece above the fold in the headline is the headline. And here again, we've got a fixed amount of characters we can use. And you're going to see that other places in LinkedIn. The headline, if you do it on a PC or an Apple computer, you get about 120 characters. There are some hacks, and being the human behavioral hacker, I knew you would appreciate hack. You can go above 120 characters, but you do it on your smartphone. But your headline, if you do it correctly, will lay the groundwork for the last important piece of real estate on your profile, which is the About section. But my headline communicates, what do I care about? What problems do I solve? What opportunities do I create? Again, you and I have had some discussion about the headline. You know, you've got the, human behavioral hacker, lead researcher, trainer, Forbes.com. The question that I would ask is, if I am just above the fold on your profile, I see your photo, your banner, the headline, is someone who's coming to your LinkedIn profile, that's the first place they come to find you. Maybe they need you. There's some keywords they've used to search. Do they have enough information to want to go further into your LinkedIn profile? And then the last piece, in the time we have together, is the fourth piece of real estate. And this is below the fold. So I have to scroll with my mouse or with my touchpad. And this is the About section on LinkedIn. It used to be called the Summary section. This is where you communicate your brand. If you've done your headline correctly, you actually have the structure of your About section. And here are, LinkedIn provides minimal formatting, so you have to be creative through uppercase, numbers, bullets, other symbols. But I would encourage an About section that is structured so it's easier to read. And your About section, I know everything that's here is important. I guess I would be curious, can we organize it in some way and then perhaps craft a headline around it? So you do hostage negotiations, conflict and negotiation. What do we got? The Paul Ekman.
We have a lot. That's my problem. And organize it in a way that how I put it out there, it's always been a conflict. So I'm completely clueless about LinkedIn. I'm really good at my job, but beside that, I'm like lost. I have a really good team who try to figure out, but I've been kind of resistant to go there, and we talk about that. And
Right.
Yeah, it is a challenge to know how to present yourself and put everything out there on LinkedIn.
But the fact that you've got a very robust About section is extremely important. And as long as people are going to read it, there's good stuff out there, and it's a prompt to them that I need to talk to Susan. Therefore, I'm going to send her an in-mail message, or I'm going to do an invitation to connect. There we have it.
Well, we have more for next week. So Howard, thank you very much for today. See you next time. Bye.
Bye now. Thank you.